go. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, dang. Stop. Remove. Bam. Auto find and activate. 1920. Okay, there we go. Oh, dang it. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. 2 o'clock. I made it. Bang, 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 bang. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Share, share, share. Okay, there we go. All right, where are we at? Come back, come back. Mm, bang, 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 bang. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Don't do it. What up, Kahora? Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go. What's going on, Kahora? Auto find and activate. That was that. I'm faster than a ping. Mm-hmm. How you doing? Oh man, got a bunch of good stuff. We're gonna be doing great. I'm Oh, I thought you said fired. Okay, just tired. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to get some vitamin B12, girl. Keep telling you. Keep telling you. And I'm actually, I got set up with Amazon, so we'll be able to put our products on Amazon. And when one's purchased, again, off of Amazon, and that can go through the channel. I'm eating an apple. Gotta eat something. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. That'll be good. So then rather than trying to say go to 110thgrade.com, buy this, set this up, people that already have Amazon accounts, just boom, making it happen. And then anything else, the storefront that I set up on Amazon, anything that we talk about, especially for well being, health, and whatnot, people can get stuff. So, and they'll get discounts and I'll send you one. Yeah, yeah, I'll send you one. Yeah. So as soon as the sale happens, it'll just print, and then whenever, and it won't be Prime. We'll have to work out that part of it. It won't be Prime, so they'll pay whatever it is, and so the label will already be paid. You just stick it on there, and you can put it in your mailbox. And when the mailman comes, picks it up, they can take it, and then it can get sorted and sent out. So it won't be overnight, but it'll be whatever 3 days or whatever it is. Oh yeah, well, that's fine. That's fine. Once we, but the other, yeah. So won't be Prime. I don't think people care. I don't think people are used to getting T-shirts from other creators and merch from other creators in a day. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Amazon Spa. Damn it. Amazon Shopify label printer. Yeah, one of these things right here. They're only like 30 bucks. Yeah, 27 bucks. So yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Shipping label printer, Shopify. Yeah, I'm not worried about color. We just need it for you. We'll make it happen. And then how big of a roll it can handle. It's so crazy. There's some for 30 bucks, and then some of the same ones. People are just reselling them for 200 bucks. 16,000 people bought that. 1,000 in the past month. I'm telling you. That's so crazy. What up, wrenching? Fat bong, brother. Idiots. Yep. Yep. You can see they're not prime, because they're being resold, so it's not prime. Doesn't even have an option to join prime. But listen, this is why Amazon makes so much money. Do you know how much stuff is like $2? Like how many like complex products are like $2 to buy from China and they sell for like, do you know how much it costs to make an iPhone? $10. And they sell them for $1,400, $1,000. Yeah, it might have cost them a few $1,000,000 to design it, but they got that back. They get, yeah, hold on, let me show you this. iPhone costing $10.
Does anybody know how much it costs to make this beautiful product in China? Anybody want to take a guess? It's the iPhone 14, $100? I'll take one more guess. 300.
Dude,
so I got a 99 guess, I got a 100 guess, I got a 300 guess. You ready for the answer? $10. I swear to God, I've visited the factories 3 times. I've met up with the chairman of Foxconn, yep, who makes this thing.
Yeah, so $10. So you're like, why are there like 1,000 new millionaires every year in America? You've got to just do something and think about it. So you can, and we're talking about iPhones. That's because they make so many of them. You can make your Foxconn, right? Yeah, they're kind of, yeah. Oh, dude, production costs, but yeah. And look now. So think about just Apple. They made $1 trillion, off of selling phones for $1,000 that were $10. Like, listen, even if it cost them $200 million. $1 billion profit would have been great. They made 1,000 times that. And so think about shoes. Do you know that the bags, those $30,000 like bags that girls buy, they cost $14 to make. 14. But that's the thing. Same with cars too. Same with like Lamborghini uses Ford Focus blinkers. Lamborghini using Ford Focus blinkers. Look at this. So he says, check out that indicator. Let me find a different one on.
Check out this indicator here. If I put a bit of wrap over this, you can see the Ford logo on there. If I wanted to buy one of those indicators from Lamborghini, it would cost me £181.28p each. Those indicators are actually off a Mark 1 Ford Focus. They are £6.90 for a pair.
Everything's a scam. Everything's a scam. All these parts to make all of these cars already exist. Unless they create a new motor. But usually a new motor is an old block. It's known technology. They put bigger header covers on it. Whatever. It's all, they add more shims to add more spring pressure. Dude, that Bugatti uses starter from Ultima. Dude, it ain't just that, dude. They use throttle bodies from Volvo, Bosch parts, and they just recased them. They put a piece of sheet metal over it, but when you peel the sheet metal off, it's got Bosch model numbers and Volvo model numbers off it. They're all, listen, why would you create your own? You know you have a problem to be solved. I need to move this much air and this much fuel. Well, this is a fuel system that does it. Okay, why are you going to be like, well, no, this is a Bugatti? Yeah, outsourced parts because it's cheaper than. But yes, everything in the everything during the 90s was developed, and everything after the 90s, like the 2000s on, have all been Legos. It's all Legos. Even cell phones, they're all Lego parts. They're all like you don't. When you a laptop, it's all the same on the inside. It's all like you might lay out a PCB, but you're using all off-the-shelf parts. Lamborghini, what up, Lamb? You have some Lamborghinis? We're off the source parts. I'm fairly certain my 2023 Tao shares the same jet. Oh yeah, sure. Why would they spend any money? R&D, dude, that's all done. And think about it. And a Lamborghini doesn't cost $100,000 to build one. It costs freaking 30 grand to build. All the, it's the. What up, Sharav? Welcome. Yeah, that stuff's so close. That thing. Oh, here you go. Here's the throttle body one. Let me see if I can find it. Why do they not have freaking YouTube up on here? New word. Yeah, well.
If we remove this cap here, it reveals a part number in there. You won't believe this. That throttle body from Lamborghini will cost you £1,655.56p. But this throttle body is actually off a Volvo V70. And if you Google that part number that is in there, you can actually buy one for £160. Look at that Volvo
they're just marking it up 10 times. 10 times. From 160 to 1,600. Lamau, I know for a fact my starter's exactly. Yeah, right, sure, yeah. I heard Lambo, you buy one? Hell no. I just called to say, let's party. What up, Robert? Yeah, everything's a scam. And the longer you can lie and cover it up, the more money you make. It's absolutely wackadoodle. It's absolutely crazy. Everything's just reduce, reuse, and recycle. Right? Okay. But when you buy something, and this is the thing about luxury brands, they're not handcrafted it's so crazy. I just called to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, I'm not buying a damn Lamborghini. I mean, listen, if I get to be like 100 millionaire, I'll buy like a 1994. What was the freaking Countach? 1994 Honda Countach, not Honda. 1994 Lamborghini Countach. Yeah, like one of these, like one of the 94s, like the ones I had on my wall when I was a kid. No, maybe it was less than that. Maybe it was 84. Yeah, there you go. One of these. One of these guys right there. Like ones I had on my wall as a kid. I would buy one of those. Look at that freaking thing. That's back when they were handmade cars. So freaking cool. It's called Caper Apple Succinct Dyson. Is that, yeah, right. The only luxury company I genuinely respect is Kozenek. Right, they're handmade. Right, everything. Each car has had human hands on it. They make their. They don't have robots to do their carbon fiber. They have people do it. Yeah, right. Koenigsegg. Yeah, absolutely. I know Cadillac cars are horrible, unreliable, but damn, I run in one so company. Right, that's the interior. The exterior, they're made with other car parts. Even the Hummer, the H3, it's just the shell. The inside is a Suburban. It's a Suburban. So yeah, so everything else. So what you have, you spend a couple $100,000 for the company making new seats, and you put $50 seats, $500 seats, $500 worth of seats in a car, and sell it for another freaking $80,000 more. It's crazy. Yeah, that's what they got in them, like lazy boy seats. Yeah, and also the Ford Lincoln Town Car. Lincoln Town Car. Yeah, let me see if I can find the interior. Well, let me put interior. Yeah, look at these frickin' seats. Look at these things. Absolutely, just soup. And that's the difference. But you pull those seats out and it's just a floor and the bolt pattern's the same. It's not like they've got to change any tooling or machining. I hear some BMW. Yeah, BMW's got some really bad engines. Yes, really bad engines, really bad electronics. Listen, you only buy cars like that if you've got money to waste. Okay. Look. BMW engine reliability. Well-documented issues. Yeah, the B58 has 2 million units, not 10 million units, you know. The diesels are the only ones that are workhorses. The most reliable old school is the M30. The four-cylinder turbo, known for severe timing change and guide failures, prone to significant costly failures, including turbo and valve seal issues. How? They know the pressures they're dealing with. They know the seals they should use. They're like, let's try this. Least, Black Lambo and Convoy. What? What happened? Am I getting the right thing there? Lambo, help me out, brother. Yeah, it's so sad BMW built. Yeah, they built a lot of them. They built an unreliable power plant and then put it in a lot of cars. It's so crazy. It's laziness. The pinnacle of engine production happens in the UK. The F1s. Yeah, that's true. It's true. High heat, high complexity engines. And this is the thing. Why do they make them so complex? Like, look at this. The Audi motors. Audi motor timing chains. Audi. Well, what are BMW? Fine. All right, I want to show you this. I want to show you this complexity. Like, look what they do. Look at that confusing mess of crap. All the extra parts, all the multiple chains. This is what's going on in there. Rather than, let's just say, Ford serpentine belt. Like they do just that one belt. But the thing is, if the belt breaks, you have a failure. Right. But the same thing with any one of the timing chains. You lose failure to half the engine, and then it rents everything. But at least if the belt stops, it's safe. If the belt breaks, it saves the engine. If one chain breaks, the rest is running stuff through. It's absolutely crazy. Anyways, what up, plastic? BMW is still running on 1940s, thinking overcomplicated the mechanism. Yes, right. Listen, when your advertising and marketing is engineering, the German engineering, they over-engineer it. Trust me, their war machines don't use stuff like that. That's only their civilian stuff. The engines I was talking about. That was the engines I was talking about. By the way, all those chains are back of the engine. Yeah, that's why it's out. It's right. It's out. That's right. It's where like the bell housing would connect. Where am I at? Right there. Right. $20 parts. Where's it at? Jeez, Richard. Let me do this. I used to know how to work the internet. 20 parts. Upper timing chain guide, upper timing chain bolt, tensioner, upper lower upper chains. And the guides like this, they have guides that the chains slide over rather than a bearing or a pulley crank that like a gear that it's so stupid. That's so dumb. Yeah, things like that don't make no sense. The German war machine learned their mistakes with the Tiger 1 and Panther series tanks, noticing none of the new equipment has trans issues. Yes, yeah. And the thing is with that, you had companies making war machines back in the day that were like, let's get rich off of this. You know, so they were still like cutting corners. One of the interesting things that I learned about the American military, all of our like main defense like our Tomahawk missile is all made with material with processes that are in the American automotive. So if we need a bunch of missiles, we can easily like within a day convert automotive lines to start making our missiles. Like they're engineered for manufacturing. It's called DFM, Design for Manufacture. And that way you don't have to say, oh, if one of our missile plants get bombed, we can freaking say, hey, Ford, start spitting out some. Ford has good war. Rheinmetall is a unit. Rheinmetall. I've never even heard of that. Let's learn something. Holy crap. Look at those freaking wackadoos. It's so crazy how like you can see how it's trying to trick digital sensors with the way it's using its new camouflage like that. KF-51. Oh, that's the KF-51. Look at this. Fully mechanized, fully unmanned. Look, Skynex. Not Skynet. Skynex. Like, oh no, it's not Skynet, dude. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's Skynex. Wow, that's so crazy looking. Oh, need a new turret? No problem. Look at that freaking craziness, dude. That's so crazy. Path opener. What is that? Is that a snowplow? I'm sure it's for not. It's probably for also for letting off landmines. They're looking to quintuple sales. That's freaking nuts. Little CEV. Get down with CEV. Yeah, you know me. Investment announcements. No, it's combat engineer vehicle. It digs up landmines and sets them off. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, we used to have a big one that it just spun chains. The chain slammed into the ground to let off. Listen, my stepmom still has her Benz E420 wagon. The only issue she had with it is that the banjo bolt started to leak. Right. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Right. Mercedes E420 wagon. There you go. No, that's me. That's not a Mercedes. Oh, come on. Come on. 97. Still same freaking look. Nice looking vehicles though, like big fat freaking headlights. Get down with OPP, yeah, you know. All right, let's look that up. CEV. I can't spell military. Spelled military with an A. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them wackadoos. Yeah. Look at the big old roller in the front. Look how freaking small those humans are. That's a big machine. It's basically just a bulldozer painted green. Look up the Dragonfire, UK Dragonfire. Oh, look at that. Melts through a bomb while it's falling, I guess. Yeah, we got no idea. We still see all the shit going on in the Middle East with AK-47s, but we got no idea what's going on. Rich, remember 2014 when America unveiled the railgun and newest destroyer claiming revolutionary? Yes, I do remember that. Absolutely. I remember making little small ones at home that would shoot freaking nails. The M728. What up, Charlotte? Doing good. My stepdad had 95 wagon, but the diesel got rid of it a long time ago. I love the sound of diesel cars. Yeah, I love the smell. I met the wife of the guy who helped stop the San Diego 1990 tank rampage the other day. Damn. Yeah, this stuff's amazing. Freaking crazy technology. Meant to handle all these crazy explosions. M728. It's going good. It's been started about a half hour ago. That's the rampage where the dude stole. Yes. Oh no, I remember. Absolutely, I remember. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that back in the day. Let's see if I can find it. Spinning chain landmine. Spinning. Yeah, this thing right here, flail. It's called a flail, which made sense. But this is what it looks like. So it spins chains and just slams them into the ground with flailing them into the ground. And this is what it looks like when it's stopped. I got you in mind, Charlotte. I'll let you know as new folks come in. I'll send them over to you. Rich, I'm sending that Sherman picture on Discord. Okay, all right. Thank you, brother. Let's see. Yeah, they've been doing that for years. I guess this is the new one you were talking about. It's so crazy. No problem. As it comes through, I'll send them right to you. I promise. I promise. A Discord, okay. I didn't forget about you. I got you. Matilda Scorpion. Oh, it used to be an attachment. I guess an attachment for an old tank. Send 2 photos of the Sherman. Also, okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me go here. Bam. I guess it's uploaded. Did you send it to DMs or okay? I see it. Well. Let's see. The good old days. Jeez. Okay, let's see. That's a big one. Let's see. I know the Japanese just came out with a new railgun. Like did what we couldn't do. Japanese latest railgun. What's up, Brianna? Doing good. Freaking so. I want to see if I can find any video of it operating. Yeah, and it's not impressive looking. I mean, but yeah, it's not impressive when it fires, but it's got a lot of. That's freaking crazy. Thing could fire 10 shots before the internal generator ran out of battery would never develop due to the fact that materials, the time of rounds shattering on impact and only with 1 millimeter extra penetration. Yeah, that penetration. You gotta, millimeter ain't much. Especially for the price, right? Because you could put two down range. You could put 2 down range of a conventional. Yeah. And have you seen what was the what was it called? What was the million shot per minute gun? Million shot per minute gun. million rounds per minute. Yeah. Lights forged by Metal Storm. Watch this. And it fires like, it can only fire like 600, but it can do it in like less than a second. So if it had 1 million, it would be able to fire 1 million in a where's that? Here it is.
Drink fearlessly. Protect your family's dreams under our roof. American Family Insurance.
Metal Storm, an Australian self-defense company, developed an electronically fired firearm capable of extraordinary rates of fire exceeding 1 million rounds per minute. Their innovative system stacked multiple projectiles in a single barrel to enable sequential firing. The key innovation was interspersing projectiles and propellant charges in the barrel, allowing ignition of each subsequent charge, while avoiding unintentional explosions. This represented a novel implementation of superposed load technology occasionally seen in black powder firearms, but tailored for modern militaries. Among their prototypes were a 36-barrel volley gun firing 180 rounds in 1/100th of a second, as well as proprietary grenade launchers and shotgun accessories designed to showcase the technology. While superposed loads date back centuries, Metal Storm was the first to successfully develop reliable, electronically controlled stacked charges suitable for relatively practical use. The US military showed interest in the 2000s, testing Metal Storm prototypes for the Navy and Army, but the company struggled to transition the technology to full-scale adoption. After failed commercialization attempts, Metal Storm entered voluntary administration in 2012, selling its intellectual property to the Australian defense firm Defendtex. Despite not achieving mainstream success,
they're not gonna freaking show it firing.
This gun can fire 1 million rounds per minute, but it has a big problem, and it's not what you think. This is Metal Storm, which stacks multiple bullets inside tubes that are electronically fired one at a time, from the front to the rear. The rate of fire is controlled by a computer, so the gun can fire either a single bullet or over 1 million bullets in a minute. Just for reference, this is what 600 rounds per minute sounds like. And this is 30,000 rounds per minute. And this is 60,000 rounds per minute. And this is 1 million rounds per minute. For comparison, the American Sea-Wiz only does 4,500 rounds per minute, while the Russian Kashtan close-in weapon system can only do 9,000 rounds per minute. But let's not confuse rate of fire with fire count, because for this test, only 180 bullets were fired out of the 36 barrels, meaning that in order to actually fire 1 million bullets, this gun would need to be reloaded over 5,000 times.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is how they use advertising and marketing to make things sound better than they are. Theoretically, it's 1 million rounds a minute, but you'll never get 1 million rounds. Which, by the way, spits around every 0.8 seconds. 0.08 seconds. 0.08 seconds. Yeah, 0.8. No. 100th of a second is 0.01, and it did 180 rounds, so it's 0.008. Yeah. Yeah, it is stupid. It's dumb. Yeah, right. And this is the thing: how much money were they given for that technology, right? And so, and it wasn't. It was a tube that, and they had some electronics on the inside, and it was just switches that lit. You had a bullet. You had to charge a bullet and a charge and a bullet and charge and a bullet and charge and a bullet, just stacked, and then the electronics would just fire the light off the charges sequentially. Lamb's drunk. Hey, what up, farm life, brother? What up, toilet? All right, let's see. What am I doing here? Something's wrong. Something ain't right. Oh, look at this. I'm an influencer now. Look. Influencers and associates. That's so cool. Nothing. I don't. I don't. I use water, and I use like any cheap shampoo, but I use very little, like not more than like a quarter size shampoo. That's it. That's it. And I think that's what most people do is they use way too much shampoo and they strip the natural oils out of their hair. That's my theory, Brianna. Because the thing is, you use shampoo to rip your hair apart, and then you try to use conditioner to fix the damage you just did with the shampoo, you know? Beer, I stand by my statement. Green Acres is the place to beer. Farm living, it looks so smooth. I only wash mine like 3 times a week. Yep. You need very little. I didn't wash it today. But yeah, I only wash it. I mean, yeah, I only shampoo it twice, 2-3 times a week at most. Yeah, 3 times a week if you put it together in like a month. But about that much shampoo. That's it. That's it. Get the shampoo as frothy as you can get it, and then get it through, and that's it. And then get it done. That's it. Don't strip too much oils out of your hair. You know how to move a 600-pound piano with a wheelbarrow? Nope. I could probably figure it out if the wheelbarrow could withstand 600 pounds. I'd probably put 2 2x12s across the wheelbarrow. I'd stick the wheelbarrow under the piano, put 2x12s until it touched the bottom of the piano, then lift it up. So I could have somebody holding the arms of the wheelbarrow and then somebody holding the 2x12s on the side so it wouldn't wobble and lose control. That's what I would do. I dumped 20 gallons of soap in my hair phone. Yeah, that's horrible. Bad idea. YouTube won't let me convey the 3 tanks I wanted to show you. It's been over. Oh, that's what you were talking about. It's rotten. That's not good. That's not good. I'm an influencer. Okay, let's see. I set the images and failed on me. Okay. The one we just looked at? Or is it still uploading? These two? Oh. 70s made America the high mag. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought you said images. Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Oops. The High Mag. I guess High Magazine. And the HS TVL. Let's see. Bam. Look at that freaking beastola. And the RDFLT test beds. Gee, look at that. I guess that's for recoil, why it's got those big freaking wackadoos on it. Extend the wheelbarrow arms. Yeah, you could use pipes, just don't snap them off. Oh, the wheelbarrow's rotten, or the wheelbarrow's rotten, or the piano's rotten. Yeah, that's a big old tank. Yeah, look at this freaking thing. And try to find one with a human next to it. Look at this. Look at the guy poking his head out right there. No, that's the Pika. No, that's the Pika. Oh, good idea. Okay, I got it. So it's a back arm. Gotcha. They used to do that with cannons back, I'm going to say at Fort McHenry. The cannon could be reloaded when the breech, then it would swing up, fire, and then the recoil of it firing would set it back down so the people that were reloading the gun were behind the wall. Recoil cannons, Fort McHenry. Yeah, let me see if I can find one that shows it working. Peek and hide. Oh. I don't know what the hell that is. I got off work at 9 a.m. I'm in this class instead of sleeping. Hey, there you go, Brianna. Welcome to class. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Military fort cannons that hide after fire. Yeah, here they are. Here they are. Disappearing gun is what it's called. Disappearing gun. So it fires. Let me see if I can find a short video. Okay. Disappearing gun cannon. Oh, I don't see any videos of it. But when it fired, it would fire, and then the act of it shooting, it would hide itself behind the wall so that it could be reloaded, and then it would pop itself back up, fire, and then go back down, and use springs to slow it. I should have seen the one. Should have seen the ones the Italians had at the Alps during World War II concrete bunkers. It said flush and not in use. That's what these guys here do also. Fort Casey. These guys here, yeah, it pops down. Here it is, another disappearing gun. Oh, well, see, here's a Fort Gaines, Mobile, Alabama. That's it firing, but I can't find a video. Let me see. That's crazy. There's nobody. I can't believe no one's got a video of it. I can't believe there's not a video of it, of any of them firing. That's so surprising. Either the Alps or the Magno line. Where are you, B? Yeah, where are you at, Brianna? Where in the world? The Alps, the Maginot line. Disappearing gun. Holy crap. Holy crap. Hold on.
Damn.
You could fit a person in there. 1942. It's got to be AI. Yeah, the dust is all wrong. Oh, it's AI History. That's the name of the freaking channel. 3 hours behind you. It's 2:49. Oh, you're in California? You don't have to say if you don't want to say what's the guy's name. Vegas. Oh, yes, you mentioned that. I forgot we talked about that. Right. I forgot we talked about you being in Vegas. Yeah.
10th of May, 4:35 a.m. in the morning, the German invasion of France begins. So you mentioned the Maginot Line. Why is that important in terms of the events that then led to what happened on the beaches of Dunkirk?
Yeah, so like the Maginot Line was like defensive positions of the French, and the Germans invaded, and they came very fast. And
the cannon, yeah.
Woods, wasn't it?
Let me show you. I've got a picture in the 1930s, as Tom said, is that, you know, things are going on in Germany. They knew there was going to be some other conflict of some sort. So along their border there, they built, so that big solid red line is this, I think it's 280 miles long, and it's sort of concrete fortifications, it's obstacles, weapons installations, built by France to defend that border against Germany. And as Tom said, the top section there runs through a forest called the Ardennes, and it's kind of
Come on. The M65. Putting in a nuke. Firing pin in the breech. That's freaking nuts.
It was built in the early 1950s with the purpose of firing nuclear devices. The cannon weighed over 80 tons and needed a crew of 5 to 7 soldiers to operate. This, my friends, is not your average artillery piece. This is the M65 atomic cannon, also known as Atomic Annie. It was built in the early 1950s with the purpose of firing nuclear devices.
What is history? Head up, Soto.
The cannon weighed over 80 tons and needed a crew of 5 to 7 soldiers to operate.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. What is history? History is what competes with science for telling what happened in the past. It's the once-in-a-lifetime actions remembered by people in the present. How you doing, Sonu? VHS tapes, dude. Remember that stuff? I love that stuff. That was so great. Yeah, I think that's what we just watched. The 7-ton projectile. Let me see if we can find it.
The Gustav was the largest gun ever deployed. This 80-centimeter railway cannon weighed 1,300 tons and fired 7 tons.
100 millimeters.
Shells nearly 30 miles. It took 2,500 men weeks to set up and could level a fortress with a single shot. The Gustav was the largest gun ever deployed. This 80-centimeter railway cannon weighed one.
Can you guess what's being built here? If you thought this was an oil pipeline,
guys are inside
it's
of
not.
it.
In fact, this is the barrel of a gun, inside of which a human fits. It took these 250 men 54 hours to assemble the heaviest mobile artillery gun that was ever built, the German Schwerer Gustav railway gun. When fully assembled, this monster weighed 1,350 tons, which was equivalent to over 300 M777 howitzers. Gustav was the largest caliber rifled weapon ever used in combat, as it lobbed 31-inch caliber shells weighing 7 tons each over 29 miles away. Perhaps it was an overkill, but consider that everything this gun fired upon, including bunkers, were annihilated, as long as it didn't miss, which it often did. Nevertheless, Gustav was so big that it needed an elevator, which was actually a disadvantage. You see, the elevator was needed to transport the heavy shells into loading position, which made reloading incredibly slow. As a result, Gustav was able to fire only once every 30 to 45 minutes.
Jeez.
So was it useless or not?
What about the
Can you guess what's being
Panzerwagen?
built here? If you thought this was an oil pipeline, it's not. In fact, this is the barrel of a gun, inside of which a human fits. It took these 250 men 54 hours to assemble the heaviest mobile artillery gun that was ever built. The German.
Jeez. Okay, let's take a look. The world's only running one.
I'll destroy everything.
What's the latest thing in the existence? I believe it's a photon. It might be an electron. Let's see. Hold on. I think it's a photon. I think it's a photon. All right, let's see. What's the lightest subatomic particle? The electron. Sorry, yeah, the electron. The electron is the lightest. Oh, wow, it's 1/100, and it's almost 1/2000th the mass of a proton. Yeah, I was thinking a photon. Hold on. Yeah, a photon. Did I say proton? Yeah, I knew it was definitely lighter than a proton. Okay. Mass of a photon. Mass. Yeah, 0, right. Yeah, photons, light, have 0 mass. That's why they can go the speed of light. Electrons are the lightest subatomic particle. But yeah, so light. What's the My brother just asked me. Okay, my brother just asked me to ask you. No problem. What's an electron made of? An electron is a field. It's a you. All right. So it's a okay. Let's get into it. Subatomic. Oh shit! I can't remember what it's called. I think makeup of an electron. Makeup. Okay, yeah, nothing. They're not made of anything, right? They're fields. They come from electron fields. They're their own thing. So they didn't evolve from something. They just are. This is a big problem with evolution. People talk about how animals evolved, but they don't talk about how chemicals didn't evolve, right? Chemicals have always been what they were. Photons have always been what they were. Electrons have always been there. You can't break an electron down to anything else. It's an electron. And this is where you get who created them. Well, nobody, but they created chemistry. So no one wants to talk about evolution and chemistry because it doesn't exist, so to speak, right? And but they want to talk about what they can talk about to sell, which is evolution, because it can't be proven. But you can prove that chemistry doesn't evolve. I mean, the knowledge of chemistry does evolve, but yeah. Electricity. Half of my messages aren't getting through. You're probably a bad person, Lamb. How can it be 0? It shouldn't exist. Then anything multiplied with 0. It's interesting, isn't it? Almost like it's outside of mathematics. Almost like it's outside of anything we can define. Almost like not nature, but nature, supernatural. This is where it all starts to come together, brother. This is where it all starts to come together. Right. There's things that couldn't have been created. Something had to create them. They didn't come from anything else. And they couldn't have always been, because it has to have not have begun in order to begin. Chemistry is the building block. Evolution is what's built. Right, but something had to make chemistry. The chemicals haven't always been here, right? And this is the thing. So they want to say that we started off with nothing, and nothing turned into photons and electrons and what, right? Or were they just compressed really small and they always have been? Well, then they can't age. It doesn't work. People try to say, no, look over here, but monkeys and humans, great. But you can't get the first cell. You can't get the first atom with nothing. and everything works because they work. So whatever the first atom was created, however that, and that's what's very interesting thing why they call it the atom, because they were naming it after Adam from the book of the Bible, from the book the Bible. Yeah, it's crazy, and I didn't put two and two together for 40 years. I'm just brain piloting a bone. I'm just a brain piloting a bone mech with a suit of armor made from skin. I'm asking what's the core of everything, the fundamental reality. Right. That's what science is. Science is trying to explain how it was done. And the problem with the word life is they keep changing the definition. Scientists get close to making a sugar and they say, we're discovering life because life basically comes from sugar. But not really, right? You're just lying. You're being deceitful. It's rather... Right. There are fundamental particles. Okay, let's look it up. The fundamental particles of shit. Okay, well, let's look up anyway. So the smallest invisible building blocks of the universe, not composed, and so you can't say how did you get from this to people, right? It doesn't work. You can try all you want, because then you can say, well, how did we get to this? And you're always going to go back. And the problem is with the way we learn science in education, in modern education, is never to get there. You don't learn beyond this until you're already a PhD and in research facilities and whatnot. No, like you never got to use an electron microscope. You never got to, and you won't. So I mean, until you follow the path all the way up and spend enough money. I disagree, but that's okay. Disagree on what on the fundamental reality? It's not composed of structures. The standard model recognizes 17 distinct fundamental particles that classify into matter-forming fermions, which are quarks and leptons, and force-carrying bosons, gluons, photons, and the Higgs boson. So they say that a beam of light, a photon, is both a wave and a particle because it can act on other things. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Oh, the creator thing. All right, brother. All right. What up, Scott? Scott knows all about this. Lamb's impression again. Of me? All right. All right. I got you.
Yeah, so don't get me started on the old religion. I don't care if you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're Christian, a Protestant. It don't matter. God is God. Yeah, God is God. What up, Space Cowboy?
What up, Space Cowboy?
Yeah. Do I recall the central parking lot?
Central parking lot.
You get it out about there, Space Cowboy. What up, MD? MD? How's things? What up, Lamb? How you doing, Lamb? Don't touch me about Lamb. He's something else. He's a lamb. Lamb. No. Me and Lamb, go back. Mums. Business partner. Yeah. What up? What's your name? What up? I gotta call it down. I gotta call it. I need to get some sleep. Okay. So bye. Bye.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Fundamental particles. Lamb's a fundamental particle. Freaking wackadoodle. I hope you enjoyed that. All right, so let's see. So this is one thing, Sonu, that's gonna let you know that no one really knows what they're talking about. All right, for fluff's sake. Everything. Listen, most things are unknown. Most things you hear about are theories. They're theories. They don't know. They say, oh, the math shows this works, but we've never seen these other things. And that's why they made the Large Hadron Collider, to see if we could break apart atoms to see their smaller their gluons and protons, and not protons, bosons. That's what it was, right? Bosons, gluons. And what gives what mass. But the reason that they called the Higgs boson the God particle, because we don't know why things weigh something. We have no idea. So this Higgs field said, this guy said this was the God particle, like the thing that makes things happen. The reason gravity happens, the reason that light works the way that it works, like what affects it. This outside force, or this force called the Higgs boson, is what makes things heavy and not just weigh nothing, right? And the known is unknown. I thought you called someone a bozo. Freaking Higgs bozo. Yeah, and look, there's 60 known variations. 60 known variations. So even though there's 17 particles, you have a variety of things because people just name them after themselves and stuff. You know, it's whack. It's what you call wackadoodle, my brethren. Yeah. And the thing is, you don't need. You're going through what's called an existential crisis, and I'm here for you once you get through it, or I'll help you get through it. Okay, so look, smallest known. Electrons are the smallest and lightest. Quarks and leptons are considered to have no internal structure, so they're not made of anything. That says they have no internal structure. No internal structure. They're not made of anything. They just are. So what makes them? Nothing. Well, how'd they get made? Good question. Is it possible that somewhere in the universe strange things exist out of science? So you're asking, are there things above nature? Right? Is the universe is the natural universe, and you're asking if there's things outside of that. That's called supernatural. And that's what they consider whatever created is supernatural, outside of nature. And nature is, they call nature like the grass and stuff, but nature is the known universe. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. What up, Julio Heliop? They call me Julio Heliop. Julio Helope. Julio Pelope. Okay, sorry. All right. And then depending on how they spin, depends on what they are. Like you have one thing that's made of something. It's made of itself, spins this way and it does one thing, and it spins this way, it does another thing. Let's see if we can find a freaking elementary particles.
All 17 elementary particles explained. First we have the quarks. Quarks are mostly defined by having color charge, so red, green or blue charge of one of the 4 fundamental interactions, the strong interaction. That's why they bind together so strongly. Next we add the 3 leptons that do not have color charge. Instead their strongest interaction is electromagnetism with electromagnetic charge. And then the 3 neutrinos, which don't really have any charge and only interact with the weak interaction and gravity. Now these are divided by their first, second and third generation, each one more massive than the last. But that's it for basic particles. Next we have the bosons, so gluon, which carries the strong interaction, photon, which carries the electromagnetic, W boson for weak, and Z boson for weak but for neutrinos. And then last, the Higgs, responsible for giving particles mass at low energy, but That's a story for another time.
Yep. It's a story for another time. Could the laws of physics be different on a different world? So here's the thing. We can do the math, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So if you look up the fine-tuning arguments, let's look up the fine-tuning arguments. If you had a number, if you wrote out like how strong one of the freaking elementary particles were with 123 zeros after the 1, if the last digit was off by 1, the whole universe falls apart. So it wouldn't, and this is why the smarter you get, the more you learn, the more you realize that everybody's just making shit up. And then it's like, no. Okay, well, let's find it. What did I just say? Fine-tuning. Fine-tuning arguments for the universe. I want somebody that actually says something.
Stop what you're doing and check out this mind-blowing presentation by scientist Hugh Ross on the fine-tuning argument for God.
For example, to have life possible in the universe has to have a certain cosmic mass density. It has to have a certain space energy density. And we can measure how fine-tuned it must be in order for there to be any possibility of life anywhere in the universe. And it's at a level of 1 part in 10 to the 122nd power. And that far exceeds the best example of human engineering fine-tuned design by about a factor of 10 to the 97 times, which means the one that was responsible for that fine-tuning design must be more intelligent, more knowledgeable, more creative and powerful than we human beings.
Astrophysicist Hugh Ross shows how incredibly fine-tuned our universe is. Not random, but precise. The Bible says, for since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature, have been
right. So those invisible attributes we think we found, that was the God particle, the invisible attributes that make things what they are. And that was the Higgs field, which is now the Higgs boson. So you're not taught any of this stuff unless these people that are billions of brains bigger than ours, brains billions of times bigger than ours, that can explain this stuff to you. We don't learn about this because everybody's going to fail it. We're too stupid in elementary school, junior high, high school, and college to even understand what these numbers. And can you imagine them saying like, right, do the math for this? You get one guy that sits down his whole life and figures out one number that's 122 digits after the 1, and then finds out that if it's off by 1, everything falls apart. And this ain't it. That ain't it. There's over 300 of these equations that none of them can be off by 1 number. And look, okay, how many atoms are in the universe? Okay, there's 10 to the 28 or 10 between 10 to the 20 or 10 to the 78 and 10 to the 82 atoms in the universe. And the number, if one of the numbers were off by more numbers than atoms are in the universe, it doesn't work. In many, and he lists a bunch of them off. Let's find some more. Hugh Ross. Huge. All right, let's see if we can find another one I'm talking about. And this is what I'm talking about. People are like, oh, freaking religion, this, and that. Well, don't talk to religion. Don't go to church for it. Go to school for it.
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics is part of the evidence for fine-tuning that points to a God.
Yeah.
Because the uncertainties are absolutely essential. If you don't have quantum uncertainties, you're not going to have stable atoms and molecules. And we need that for life. And when you actually examine how much uncertainty you need, make the uncertainty slightly bigger or slightly lesser, you eliminate the possibility of life.
Right.
And that's also true of statistical mechanics. The uncertainties we see in statistical mechanics, likewise, must be extraordinarily fine-tuned to make life possible. I mean, for example, inside the cell, there's machines that take advantage of the uncertainties in statistical mechanics. And to change that uncertainty slightly, those proteins don't work.
Right.
And no life is possible.
So the things that make outer space work, that make stars work, if they were off by one fraction of a freaking butt cheek hair, proteins wouldn't fold. So this is how super fine-tuned we are, and it's unbelievable. Look, I spent freaking a year and a half, 2 years just like, no, and then I was like, maybe. And then it's just like, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So you're saying this is impossible. Us having this conversation, the ability, the reason that we're able to have this conversation over fiber optic lines, because we know how light works, because we have the ability to know how light works we learned everything about this entire universe from what we've got from this planet. Everything on this planet gave us what we needed to discover everything in this universe that we know. You understand what I'm saying? And we have the brains. We have the people that have the brains that can have the wherewithal to think through it. And this is the problem with people that lie and they deceive, and you cannot prove that there's not a God. So if they automatically take that off the table, they're not looking far enough. They're thinking they're going to find the answer in their petri dish. But when you start getting if you listen to a let's say a chemist about how the world started, he's going to look into his chemistry. But when you start looking at astrophysicists and chemists and biological chemists and you take all the disciplines and you start listening to all of them, and they don't agree on anything because they don't agree on everything. And then when you start to finally understand and piece everything together, and some people have put down, like creation.org, they have a 300-page compendium full of math to show you why it's not possible that the universe arranged itself. And like if something was just a hair faster or a hair slower, then we wouldn't have protein folds or electron spins, or everything falls apart. You scare me. Doesn't it? So what he was just saying there, Sonu, is that the randomness is required for the fine tuning. Without the randomness, we wouldn't have what we have, right? But you can't. When you randomize something, you already have a pool that you're randomizing. You already have the fields and the particles that exist to randomize. Like you wouldn't say you have a bag full of letters to randomize it. You shake it up, right? But you're doing the shaking. Somebody's shaking it. Somebody randomize it. Somebody, an engineer, a designer had to decide how it was going to be shook. It's crazy. Absolutely. Can there be a theory of everything? There's a bunch of them. And dude, the smartest guy on the planet, the guy that's got like the 260 IQ. Here, look. But this is the problem. We spend so much time looking for evidence of no God rather than looking for evidence of God. So you find the smartest people in the world that say, look, let me figure this out. I want to find out if there's a God or not. Look, smartest man in the world finds God. Smartest. 210 IQ. Let me see if I can find it. Good. Here we go.
Does God exist?
Yes.
Simple as
that. The reality has an identity. Okay? The identity is that as which something exists. Okay? Matter of fact, when you say the word reality, you're naming an identity. You're identifying something.
I'm smiling because your answer on this is so beautiful.
Right.
It just reminds me of...
We try to overcomplicate things so we can be the ones that you guys look to for the answers, that the customers, the students look to for the answers. But it's much simpler than that.
Of Moses at the burning bush.
And he has a theory of everything.
Moses at the burning bush says, who shall I tell the people that you are? Talking to God. And God says, tell them I am that I am.
That's right.
I am identity itself. I'm being himself.
That's exactly right. That's what the CTMU says. It just comes up with the mathematical structure that you need to build a reality out of that. You see? So you come up with that identity and then you search it for its properties. You see, once you've built the preliminary framework, then you start deducing the properties of this identity, and you find out that those properties match those of God as described in most of the world's major religions.
Right. So we limit our education. We consider atheist the religion that we want to get our education from because they did the math and stuff to figure out. But they're nowhere near done solving their problems because they limited themselves by completely disregarding the ability. And then you have people that are much, much, much smarter than those people. The problem is people lie. People lie and say that they know more than they know. They heard somebody smarter than them say something, so they repeat it without even knowing what they're talking about. We're all in a simulation. That's right. Now that I know that I'm nothing but synapses and electrical impulses, am I truly alive? Am I real? Right, we're all in a simulation. I think, therefore I am. That's right. That's right. What up, Loretta? And so that guy right there, the GCMU, I think it's called GCMU, Theory of Everything. GC? CG? CMU? I can't remember what it was. Hold on, let's watch it again real quick.
Exactly right. That's what the CTMU says.
CTMU.
It just comes up with the mathematical...
CTMU. Cognitive theoretical model of the universe. All right. So we've been listening to, this dude's model, that dude's model. Well, a lot of different people have different models. They teach the ones that are the most popular, but not the most true. That's their truth, not the truth. What's going on, Julio? It's been good, my brother. So it's the cognitive theoretical model of the universe. There's a new kind of reality theory by Christopher Langan. That was the guy we just watched. Presents theory of reality, which posits the universe as a self-configuring, self-processing language that both mind and reality. The CTMU blends science, philosophy, metaphysics, suggesting reality is a self-created, self-organizing system where everything, including human consciousness, is interconnected and plays a role in its own evolution. Known for his high IQ, the theory of everything. So, okay. And listen, this was published in 2002, and you never heard about it until today. Why? Because you're not being taught anything. They found a very small framework to teach people stuff so they think they know what they're talking about because they've heard the topic. What up, Thadiel? This guy has no clue about reality. He's a grifter. Please do not watch this channel, guys. Yeah, Boosie. Hey, Boosie, I met you. I met you up the street. Boosie gets gas at the gets gas a lot of times at the he's not really Boosie. This guy's just a freaking he's upset about something. He's probably has some issues. So you are, once you work them out, I'm here for you. Math, physics, science works, hence there must be a complete explanation. Right. But the problem is you listen to who's offering you the explanation, right? And if they say that they're an expert in those fields, you believe them, right? But you never looked into it. Well, I never took those courses. Well, do it if you really want to know what's going on, right? And that this is what makes the world worth explaining. Yes, I know Boosie in real life. Yes, absolutely. I live in Atlanta. Evidence helps, buddy. Yeah, evidence helps. Yeah, evidence. Right, and that's the thing. Evidence is the thing. The problem is when you have theories that you want to popularize. If you know the evidence or someone brings evidence against it, you push it to the side. You say, well, that's theoretical, but so is your theory. So it's like evidence. And when the evidence is make-believe, like when they say the evidence for dinosaurs is that we have dinosaur bones, but people can make up things that they don't know for sure. Like we can only radiologically test things back to about 100,000 years with carbon-14. Yeah. He has that white Phantom. Was it a Phantom? It was a big white Rolls Royce. Looks almost like the Escalade kind of thing. Boosie's white Rolls Royce. It was he didn't know how to. Well, the chick driving it didn't know how to open the gas cap. Okay, anyway, Boosie. Yeah, there you go, right here. Boosie badass. Freaking beautiful freaking car, too. Nice guy. What's evidence? Without evidence, it's just imagination. That's right. Hey, thank you, Mehmet. Thank you, my brethren. Everything is possible. Everything is possible with imagination. Right. Well, the thing is, the problem, imagination, desperation, and and low self-esteem leads to deception. Right. So you can use your like when your parents or your girlfriend or your boyfriend says, "Where were you last night?" "Oh, I was with Jenny." That's imagination. That's not necessarily good. Well, give me some evidence. Oh, look, here's a text from Jenny saying I was with Jenny. But that evidence was planted, right? Like the Piltdown man, which was supposed to be the proof that we evolved from monkeys, but come to find out it was a monkey skull with a human jaw drilled on. And then when finally we drilled into the tooth, we found meat, and they were like, there shouldn't be no meat. Yeah. The Piltdown man hoax. This is 1953, right? Hold on, let me see if I can find a video on it. How they fooled scientists, and they fool scientists all the time because you have scientists that are studying some other subject, and then a scientist in a different subject says, "I discovered this," and they're like, "Awesome!" and they just take his word for it, and they bring fake evidence.
He took the pieces of bone and stained them darker and filed down ape teeth to make them look worn. You see, some say the man wanted to become a famous scientist, so he buried the pieces next to some animal bones. And when he dug them back up, he claimed he had found the missing link between humans and apes. He was praised for his work.
With no evidence.
Decades later, scientists discovered the skull piece.
No mathematic evidence. Nothing. Just he scammed everybody, and the entire scientific community believed him.
Were from a modern human, while the jaw was taken from an orangutan, and they realized that it was nothing more than just a hoax.
Right, but that doesn't fill the rest of the story. So when was it discovered to be a hoax? Come on, buddy. You can do it. It's thinking. What does grifter mean? Grifter means somebody that has their own opinions or changes their opinion depending on how they can make money. Like someone who's a Democrat but does Republican stuff because you can make more money, or a Republican that says does Democrat. Like they don't care either way. Whoever pays them the most money. Automatic cars are weird. So in 1912 he discovered the missing link. When was it exposed? You're exposed. Yeah, so 1953 it was discovered to be a hoax. So from 1912 to 1953, so for 41 years, all the science textbooks, all of the evolution textbooks said all the theory from Darwin has just been proven. We found the missing link. And it was a lie. So but so many college textbooks, how many millions of people were around the world were educated on this scam? They were educated that this was it. This is why. Yes, we have monkeys, we have humans, and here's a monkey, half human. So there, it shows it because we've never found any evidence. This was the only ever piece, but we've all learned it. You promote things that aren't legitimate. There you go. You got fabrication. What up, Brianna? I like philosophy, but we shouldn't argue with blind atheists in 2026. The only way. Right. That right. And I understand people evolve. People's knowledge evolves, people's positions evolve. So that's how humans can evolve. So yes, I started out as an atheist also because I didn't know anything. And then my education evolved, and then my mindset evolved, and then more evidence showed up. And you see how much, because they don't tell you. They don't tell you when the scams are uncovered, because too many people think about that. For 40 years, you had PhD students turned into professors, turned into doctoral freaking, they write curriculums, they write books, and it was all on a lie. So what, they just throw away? Everything, you were wrong about everything. Well, but it's a theory. This just happened to be a scam. It could still work. So now that there's hundreds of millions of dollars involved in this scam, they're like, find the new missing link. And people keep saying, I'm a little bit closer. And they're like, cool, here's some more money because God can't exist. Land, babe. Thin line between right and wrong. Yeah. So it was 2016 when it was confirmed to be a hoax. So almost 100 years, 104 years, 1912 to 2016, people were still believing it. The suspicion fell in 2016. A study confirmed that an amateur archaeologist, Charles Dawson, was responsible for the hoax. The biggest frauds of the 20th century. It misled researchers for 40 years. For 40 years, they were researching the wrong way because of a lie. How many more are doing it? And then when people said, oh my God, hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent on this, and just because we didn't know, how much else do I know? I can make up something. I can do that. I'll be dead. I'll be dead before they find out that I did something wrong. You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And all of these things, because they don't teach you this. Listen, kids still learn about Piltdown Man. We learned about Piltdown Man when I was in high school in the 90s. Dude, it's absolutely nuts. And it's just some freaking wackadoo. I don't believe in God right now, but I have arguments like, prove it, right. And I understand, brother. That's why I don't say, get out of here, heathen. You know, I understand. Because we've never looked for proof. We always just expected the professionals and the experts were being professional. And they weren't, and they're not, and a lot of it's being discovered now. Like now, you've actually got like a freaking superhero, James Tour, Tour, who's like trying to absolutely push people. Like, no, you guys do not know what you're talking about. And he says, you know what happens when you tell them that they're wrong? He says they say nothing. They don't even answer. They change the subject, so they're just being deceptive. Well, I don't know, brother. I don't know what's happening with your messages. I'm not, a lot of people's been saying stuff about that lately, but no, they can't, I'm not deleting them. You'd get a notification if it got deleted too. Your science get proven wrong just so approaching towards truth. Right. Approaching towards the truth. What do you think the truth is? The problem is when people say that God doesn't exist, they can never prove that. So automatically they're being deceptive. Scientists should be agnostic. It's possible, but I don't have any evidence. That's what they should be saying, not there is no God. Because there's really famous people that say there is no God. And they're like, well, I can do that too. You know? Yeah. That's why I'm on Twitch. Yeah, brother. Oh, it's better over there. Gotcha. Yeah, YouTube is glitching. Okay. Messages don't appear sometimes. Okay. Well, it does seem a lot of my messages are being removed as well. All right. Let's see what I'm gonna do. Hold on. I'm gonna eat some lunch real quick too. It's past 3:30. But I'll try. I'll see if there's anything going on. Let's see. We'll do that real quick. Is anyone experiencing messaging not? Dan, I can't speak. Is anyone experiencing messages not showing up in YouTube live chat? Common issue. Okay. Technical. It says technical glitches. refreshing, updating the app, checking to see if they were hidden by a moderator. Yeah, it's not, yeah. If anyone's using an ad blocker, that might be why too. I don't know. We are just marbles in God's pouch. I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. The more we are taught nothing. We are not taught nothing. All you guys are like out of high school, college grade age, and you don't know. Not your fault. You're taught what you're supposed to be taught. I think it's definitely YouTube, right? But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and eat now and take care of my chickens, and I'll be back in a little bit, guys. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'll see you guys back in a little bit. Bye.